The family of the man who was kicked by the police appeals for calm. We're going to read into this more from the BBC, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an article from the BBC with the headline that the family of the man that was kicked by police has appealed for calm. The family of the man who was kicked in the head by police at Manchester Airport has appealed for calm in all the communities, an MP has said. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share it across social media so others are notified of this video. So what is this story about, guys? So at the time of this recording, guys, I just want to make it very, very clear. So there was a incident at Manchester Airport where I don't know if he was a suspect or whether he's a terrorist or whatever it is. Basically, he was put down. He was down on the ground. He was tasered. He was basically subdued by the taser. His hands were behind his back. He was basically completely vulnerable. And for whatever reason, the police officer, who has now been suspended at the time of this recording, I don't know, we don't have any more than that. Basically, video footage, and I've seen the video footage, and I'm not going to show you here, kicked the person who was down, completely vulnerable, in the head, and stomped him on the head. Now, why the officer did this, what was the reason behind it, we have no idea. But understandably, doing this to somebody who is completely basically subjugated, basically hamstrung, regardless of whether that person is a criminal or not, regardless of whatever that person's whatever that person is guilty or not guilty of, you just don't do that, guys. You just don't, police officer or not. You are literally advocating for violence. It doesn't matter what that person is guilty or not guilty of. Yeah, you can't just kick someone in the head like that. What is the matter with that officer? What was he thinking in his mind? Why does he feel the need to do that? Why did he feel he needed to kick him in the head? Why did he feel that he had a right to do that? He didn't have a right to do that. And then there was comments from the Reform MP, Lee Anderson, who said that the guy should be given a medal. So let me put this question to you guys, because obviously some of you Reform voters think that their party is speaking for you. If that was you in that situation and the officer kicked you in the head or stumped you in the head, would you still think the same way? If that had been Lee Anderson's son, shall we say, in that position, and the officer kicked him in the head, would Lee Anderson be saying that again? I don't think he would. There should be no excuses whatsoever. That man is a disgrace for saying such disgusting and vile comments. There's no place for it whatsoever. Now, yes, of course, you can argue all you want in the comment section about what this man is guilty or not guilty of. You're more than welcome to do so. But the footage is very clear. The officer kicked and stomped him in the head when he was down. It's clear, plain to see. And there's no video editing to show otherwise. There's no AI. There's none of this. The evidence is very clear to see on this. And Richard Tice also made provocative claims as well, which did not help the situation as well. We should not be promoting this kind of violence, because if a police officer does this and is being seen as okay, what's to stop other people thinking that it's okay? Oh, a police officer is allowed to kick people in the head and stomp on their head while they're down. Why can't I do that then? Plays into people's minds. So just think about that. Yeah, just put that in your minds when you think that Reform is a party that appeals to you. because it has an MP who think it's perfectly justifiable to kick someone and stomp someone on the head while they are down. So just remember that. The family of the man who was kicked in the head by police at Manchester Airport has appealed for calm in all the communities, an MP has said. So Paul Rife, the Rochdale MP, said the traumatised family wanted to make it clear that they had no political agenda whatsoever and did not condone political violence. Footage was shared online of Greater Manchester Police firearm officer, who has since been suspended, kicking and stomping on a man as he laid prone on the floor. The force said the officer's actions had come after he and other colleagues were violently attacked in a car park in Terminal 4 at about 8:30 BTS on Tuesday. Now, let me address this comment here. You are being watched all the time. You are being watched all the time. You must always assume as a police officer that you're always being watched all the time. And regardless, you must learn to control your emotions. And whatever it was, there is no justifiability, even if no justifiability from this officer. This does not give him justifiability to kick this person, even if he violently assaulted him. Because the idea is, you are a police officer, you are supposed to show that you are better than him, to show that you are more professional than him, that you are not on the same level as this person, if he indeed did this. You're supposed to be better than them. Which is why I always talk about, when we try to talk about some of our words and things about, I've talked about how important it is. When some people said about when Donald Trump was obviously, someone tried to assassinate Donald Trump, and one or two people thought that it was such a shame, some of those people said. And I would say, no, it's wrong in every single way, shape or form. Because the moment you want it for one person, you will want it for everyone. You don't have to like somebody, you don't have to agree with someone, but you should never advocate for their loss of life. And what the police officer did here was he lost control of his emotions in this situation. He lost control of his emotions. And that's why he must pay for his actions. Because he thinks that what he did was justifiable because of what happened to him. That's what he's going to claim. That's what the police are going to claim. They're saying that he lost his cool, he lost his emotions. Well, I'm sorry, then he shouldn't be a police officer if he cannot control his emotions. Because it is a very difficult job. We understand how difficult it is to be a police officer. But you have to be able to control your emotions. You have to be able to control them. And there's no acceptable excuse whatsoever to be kicking someone on the head, kicking them while they're down, even if that person assaulted you in any way, shape or form. Because again, you're a police officer. You're supposed to lead by example. Anger over the video led to protests outside Rochdale police station on Wednesday and Thursday night, with another protest also held in Manchester City Centre on Thursday. Mr. Waugh said the family would not be attending any protests or giving any media interviews as they wanted their privacy protected. The strong message they wanted to give is that they have no political agenda whatsoever, he told BBC Breakfast. They wanted me to issue an appeal for calm among all sorts of different communities in Rochdale. We've had an history of unfortunate divisions in our towns, and we do not want to go back to those days. He said that the families were acutely aware of the extremists on all sides who were keen to hijack the incident for their own end. The family are not interested in that at all, he said. The MP said the incident had happened after officers tried to arrest someone at the airport following an earlier fight. The Mayor of Greater Manchester, Andy Burnham, said he had watched wider footage of the incident, which appeared to begin after the issue of a flight coming into Manchester. He told the BBC the flight had landed, then two people waiting for their mum, who said there had been an issue, and then pointed somebody out before there was an altercation in the arrival halls. Mr. Burnham said that those involved had been followed by a camera through the airport, and then we get to the scene that people had been seen in the car park area. Police spokesperson said there had been a clear risk that the firearms officers could have had their weapons taken from them, and 3 officers have been taken to hospital, one with a broken nose. And hopefully that those officers are okay. The 4 men, aged 19, 25, 28, and 31, were arrested in the aftermath of suspicion of a fray and assault and later bailed. The force said it understood the deep concerns that had been widely raised over the footage. Solicitor Akmik Yabu, who is representing Mohammed Faleh Asid, who said it was the man who had been kicked, said his condition had worsened on Wednesday night. A CT scan had revealed that there is a cyst on his brain. Mr. Wells said all the family members involved had been treated in hospital but were now recovering at home. One of them was taken to hospital for another scan, he said. I'm hoping that they are on the mend, but obviously after the efforts of the incident like this, they are difficult to assess immediately at the time. Rochdale councillor Miriam Ali, who attended one of the protests, said people had a right to be angry. When I was there, it was people who were saying they wanted something to be done about this, he told BBC Radio Manchester. They want people to stand in solidarity. It was a peaceful protest, no trouble was caused. People were raising their concerns, and I think people were losing trust in the police. I've talked numerous goddamn times about the police. I've said it so many times about the police. The Independent Office for Police Conduct, which promises a robust investigation, said it received 2 referrals from GMPs. The first concerned was the use of force by an officer on a man who was detained on the ground, while the second was relating to the same officer's use of pepper spray on another man at an airport, he said. He also appealed for any witnesses to the incident to come forward in the investigation. Mr. Wells said it is clear that this is a complex, fast-moving incident, but obviously there is no justification whatsoever for what we've seen. He said the IOPC investigation needs to be thorough, but also quick, adding they're independent of the police, and I think the families are also really encouraged by that. Now, I can't comment on the pepper spray incident. I can only comment on the video footage of that. And like I said, now, you are a police officer. It is, I know, I can understand the argument, and I'm sure some ex-officers may even comment in the comments on this video as well. And you're more than welcome to add your thoughts on this. But you have to learn to control your emotions. And I know we are all human beings with emotions and feelings. Some of us are more controlled in our emotions than others. That's understandable. But being a police officer in whatever situation, you must always remember that when you have that uniform on, whenever you are on your duties, that you must always assume that you are always being watched. You must always assume you are being recorded. You must always assume that if you do something or say something out of line, you could be in deep trouble. Now, I'm not saying when the cameras are off or when nobody's watching that you can advocate for doing anything that man did in any way, shape, or form. That's not what I'm saying. But you should always assume, and regardless of the incident about being attacked and whatnot, again, I said it earlier, guys, and I'm going to say it again. There is no justifiability for that. None at all. And I just hope that the officer does never step back in as a police officer again, because he clearly lost control of his emotions, and he cannot be allowed to be a police officer if he cannot control his emotions. He cannot be a police officer if he cannot control his emotions. He just can't. I'm sorry. I don't care what his background is or how experienced you are. You've set a bad example, and you've upset so many communities. Yes, of course, the family don't want to make it a political agenda. I understand that. But you've painted the police force in a really bad image by your actions. You really, really have. And you can't be a police officer for doing that. You just can't. I'm sorry. But if they put him back in, they're basically saying, oh, he won't do it again, pretty promise whatsoever. No, he can't be a police officer again. He can't. Because he can't control his emotions. But what do you guys think? What do you guys make of the incident? Those of you who have seen the police footage, let me know what you guys thought of it in the comments down below. What do you guys make of the officer himself? Was it right that he be suspended? Do you think that he should be given a second chance? I don't think he should, personally. But do you think he should be entitled to a second chance? Go through a rehabilitation course of some sort to control his emotions? What do you guys make on all of this and more? Let me know your thoughts and more down in the comment section below. If you found this video interesting, please hit the like button. We greatly appreciate it. Share it across social media so others are notified of this video. And subscribe, because it really does help support the channel. And if you want to go one step further, financially support me and the work that I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p, or join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content on those platforms. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.